Welcome to the table together. My name is Tiffany Lewis, and I invite you to join me right here every Tuesday as we learn how to make delicious and seasonally inspired recipes perfect for sharing around the table together. So what we're making today is a weeknight chicken cutlet. So cutlets are chicken breasts cut in half or even pounded, so they're nice and thin, so they cook in just a couple minutes per side. So one sure way to get dinner on the table super fast is to have thin meat to work with from the very get-go. We also have some tarragon, we have some onions, we have some cremini mushrooms, and we're gonna make a super simple pan sauce, and we'll reduce that down with some white wine and some chicken stock. So let's get started. You see here we have a little bit of oil in our pan, so we're gonna get that nice and hot. You can see actually, it already is really hot. So what we're doing is we're going to take our chicken cutlets and we're going to season them with a little salt and pepper. Make sure you start nice and high so your salt isn't concentrated in one area. And I'm going to flip them over as I put them in my flour mixture. So the chicken cutlet is going to go right here in our flour. I'm going to put it right on top, and I'm going to do a little bit of seasoning on this side. Not too much because I'm just doing one right now. And then what we're doing is we're going to dredge our chicken. The entire chicken. And I'm using my tongs just mostly because I don't want to dirty my fingers. And then I have to wash them. So nice and seasoned like this. And I'm actually going to put them right here on this plate and prepare them for my hot pan. So you'll continue this process with all your chicken cutlets, making sure both sides are generously seasoned with salt and pepper before you dredge them in flour. All right, so our chicken has all been dredged in flour. It's ready to go. I turn my pan back on so it gets hot again. It's still actually pretty hot. Now, I might add a little bit more oil here because I want my entire pan to be covered, not thick cover. We're not frying our chicken. That'll be another video. Come back and watch me do that. That's actually a pretty good one. But nice and hot in our pan. Our chicken is going to go into our pan, a nice even layer, and we're going to cook it until we have a beautiful golden sear. And what you should hear is something along these lines. Are you ready? Oh, baby. You hear that? Oh yes, now that is what you want to hear. That nice sizzle. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Okay, so if you have more than 4 chicken cutlets, 2 chicken breasts, work in batches so that you're not overlapping your chicken, and they each have room to cook. Now, if you can see here, there's a little bit of white at the very bottom of each chicken cutlet. The white there is basically cooking from the bottom up. So as you see that white get higher and higher and higher, it's cooking through that chicken. Now I already have the oven on to about 400. So if your chicken doesn't cook all the way through in your pan and it gets too much color before the middle layer is cooked, just pop it in a preheated oven and let it finish cooking all the way through. It'll only take a few minutes. And again, these are really thin chicken cutlets. They're gonna cook in half the amount of time as your thick chicken breast will cook. So if you're looking for a quick, healthy weeknight dinner, this is it. This one's for you. You're welcome. All right, it's been a few minutes, so let's go ahead and check our chicken. Now you can see some of these are a little thicker than others, and it's kind of like buckling up. It's kind of poofing out right there. That's all right. It's just a little thicker piece of the chicken breast. No drama. It's all right. It takes a few minutes more to cook. Doesn't mean you have to leave the rest in for that entire time. This one's thinner. That color is gorgeous. Love it. All right, let's give our chicken one more look. Oh, yeah. Remember what I said. Color, color, color. Woo! Now that's so good. Oh, my gosh. You can hear that sizzle. That's what you want to hear. You want a hot pan, you want sizzle. You need a little bit more oil. Guess what? A little bit more, that's right. Now that we have flipped our chicken and the outside is fully cooked, I'm gonna trade in my red tongs, red equals raw, for my black tongs, which equals clean finishing. This plate is gonna go right over here. Don't cross-contaminate, it's not worth it. So So this chicken cutlet's nice and done. I'm gonna take it out, put it right here on this nice clean plate with my clean tongs, and I'm gonna let it rest. A piece of foil, just like this. Just simply tent it, set it to the side. There we go. Okay, now we're moving back to our same pan. Don't wash it, don't clean it, leave it here. All that flavor in there is what we want. We're gonna work with that flavor. So if your pan's really dry, add a little bit more oil. Mine's pretty wet still with the oil and all the juices from the chicken. I'm gonna add just a little bit, because the first thing we're going to do is cook our onions. We wanna cook these until they're nice and translucent. They start sweating, they start softening, and they start caramelizing. So our pan is actually still hot from the chicken. Do you hear that? Oh, I love that sound. It's probably one of my favorite sounds. I just love it. So, trick here. Spread your onions out in a nice even layer and allow them to cook. What happens when you get a bowl of soup and it's really hot? We stir it until it cools down, right? Well, if we continue to stir our pan, you're cooling down your pan. You're not allowing anything in it to really get that color and get that heat that it needs to start cooking down. So think about that. So you can see here, we have some nice caramelization happening. All these little pieces of onion here are nice and brown. They're starting to get translucent. They're softening. What's really happening is that the onions are looking amazing. I wish you were here to smell this too. It smells so incredible. I think the smell of onions and really like chicken roasting, oh, that to me smells like home, and there is nothing that smells more or reminds me more like home than this smell of my mom in the kitchen cooking every single night as we grew up. Those are my fondest memories. Those are some of the reasons why the table together was even started. So our onions are nice and translucent. There's a nice color happening here. I'm gonna add in my cremini mushrooms, which I have thinly sliced. Come on, little guy. Go. So, if you need more oil at this point, add some more. The onions are gonna help provide moisture for these mushrooms. The mushrooms are gonna get soft. They're gonna start to get some of that nice color that we keep talking about, and they're really just gonna make a perfect addition to our sauce. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil because my pan's a little bit dry. Those onions have absorbed a lot of it. And you know, mushrooms are like sponges. They're gonna absorb a lot of moisture too. So what moisture we do have from the onions, the mushrooms are going to soak it up. So it's been about 4 or 5 minutes. Our mushrooms are nice and brown and delicious, and they're really soft, and it smells fantastic. This smell of mushrooms is quite wonderful. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add some white wine, dry white wine, something that you would drink, inexpensive. Maybe you wouldn't, drink it all the time, but it's drinkable. So that's kind of the gauge you should use when you're using wine, really in anything that you're doing, whether it's red or white, something that you would drink, but you're not gonna take it off the top shelf. And what we wanna do now is add the wine, turn up the heat a little bit, some kind of a medium high. You see our liquid here is starting to bubble, and we're going to start reducing down on that wine. So it's going to become au sec, almost dry. Fancy term. Impress your friends. Now when you're adding your white wine, it's actually going to continue to cook your mushrooms. So be careful when you cook your mushrooms before you add your wine that you don't take them too far. Yes, they're soft, but they still have a little bit of texture to it. Now here in the wine, and then we're going to add our stock. It'll cook even more. Now if you see here, it's been about 2 minutes or so. My wine is almost fully incorporated. So we are good. See how that's all evaporated? Now we're gonna add our chicken stock right in here. And we're going to give that a nice little stir. Now we don't want to cook off all our chicken stock because the chicken stock is what's going to be part of that sauce that's going to go in our chicken. So kind of just cook it down a little bit, heat it through. And if you're serving this with mashed potatoes, you might want a little bit more sauce to kind of drizzle all over the mashed potatoes. Gosh, that sounds good. Maybe I'll have to do that tonight. So our mushrooms have finished cooking. Our stock has reduced down. You still want it to be kind of saucy. We're going to add our tarragon right into our pan, just like this. That's nice and finely chopped. Our tarragon looks just like this, these nice little leaves. Kind of tastes like licorice. And then I'm going to add probably just 1 pat of butter in here, move it around, give it a nice little richness. So our chicken's been resting for about 5 minutes. I'm going to tuck it right back in here in our pan, just like this. And I'm going to allow my guests to come around and help themselves. So delicious. Now, if you'd like, you can add a little bit more tarragon just to finish, a little bit of parsley to finish, but this looks pretty fantastic. So for this recipe and hundreds of other recipes, including desserts and soups and salads and even smoothies, visit my website, thetabletogether.com. Until next time, I hope that you find more moments to gather around the table together with your family and friends. Thanks for stopping by.